Back with another video, chilling in my car on All Saints Day. It's the day after Halloween, so technically today is All Saints Day. All Hallows Day, Dia de los Muertos. I call it Ancestor Day, short, sweet, to the point. Don't mind me just getting a little Palo going. Palo Santo. But I just wanted to give this message real quick for whoever reads this and whoever needs to hear this. Not reads this. Whoever sees this and needs to hear this. On the description is how to avoid bringing a religious mindset and bringing religious practices to your spiritual work. And I feel like this is something that needs to be said. Like, I've seen this plenty of times, like certain people I follow on like Instagram, because that's really the only social media site that I get on. I can't do too much social media, but like on Instagram, like readers and people that work with ancestors and spiritual practitioners and whatnot, it's too much ego that comes from a lot of people in this work. And they'll hop up and be real loud and proud and tell you, if your spirits ain't choose you, or if they didn't come to you and tell you that you're supposed to work with them, please do not work with these deities and blah 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 blah. Fuck all that. And I don't know if this is the many hours and hours of like listening to and sleeping on lectures from Bobby Hemmett and Brother Penningfield and all these great teachers, bro. That makes no fucking sense. Because these deities, like, fuck that. If that's the case, take your ass back to Christianity. Like, take your ass back to the church. Who are you to tell somebody that they cannot work with a deity or a spirit? Because for whatever reason, because basically what you're saying is, if you don't get initiated or go through the process like I did, then you're not doing it right. Fuck that. Who says you did it right in the first place? This goes back to my last video, or one of the previous videos I put out. That there's power in a name. These deities aren't just deities, like just some super all-knowing, supernatural, sentient being in the sky. If that's the case, take your ass back to Christianity, where there's God in the sky. These deities didn't exist until we created them. The moment we gave them a name in order to personify certain aspects of ourself, they did not exist. So basically, all these deities, these spirits, these orishas, these loas, the neter, all that they're just aspects of the human personality, which is also reflected in nature frequencies that we all experience and go through in this infinite plane. So who the fuck are you to tell somebody they can't work with an aspect of themselves? That makes no fucking sense. There is no all-knowing being out there or beings out there that's choosing people to do this work. This is simply people coming back. This is simply people coming back into remembrance. They are remembering themselves and their power. Don't get me wrong, I do think it's like very saturated, it's getting very commercial and mainstream, but at the same time, there's still beauty and power in the fact that it's becoming mainstream. That means there's more and more people that's being introduced into ancient knowledge, ancient traditions, and spirituality. And and people that say that shit, like, if these guys didn't choose you, like I saw one video, somebody saying like, just because Oshun came to you in a dream, that doesn't mean that was the real Oshun and she wants to work with you. That just means you were probably thinking, well, if this person has been, first of all, everything is everything. There is no fucking mistakes in this realm. Like, everything happens for a reason. Everything is everything. That's what that means. And only the true occultist or the alchemist or the person that's work can sit down and find a truthful meaning to everything that they experience. If a person is thinking about Oshun or is drawn to Oshun, there's a reason for that. So if they're drawn to it, that means something in them, the frequency of Oshun, of unconditional love and self-love and beauty and power, is coming back online with them. So now that they've been led to Oshun, something in them resonates with the frequency of Oshun. So to tell them or tell somebody just because they showed up in a dream, what the fuck do you think the dream world is? It's the astral realm. Yes, it's still a connection to this illusionary realm, but it's still an extension of their universe as they're experiencing and walking and existing in this realm. If they have been led to Oshun, that means something in them matches that frequency. So who the fuck are you to tell them that they should not be working with them, that they shouldn't make an altar, that they shouldn't look up who Oshun is and what she represents? Why the fuck would you do that? Like, that's the reason why a lot of people out here getting got by these so-called practitioners and aren't coming into their own power. All the power lies within every citizen, if we so fucking choose it, especially melanated beings. So this simply to this video, it just made my ass itch, and it rubbed me the wrong way to see these people. If they didn't choose you, you don't get to work with. Who the fuck are you? Who are you to tell somebody that they cannot present? Until randomly I learned how to do Reiki, and then something in me kept pulling me to knowing that there is some form of comedic Reiki out just in my mind. And then when I did that, I got led to the Raseki Arts Temple, and I bought their books, and lo and behold, who's the main deity in that book? Segment. So, and I wish somebody would tell me I can't work with that deity. It makes no fucking sense for you to tell me that, because I didn't get led to her on accident. It was not a mistake. It happened because it was supposed to happen. The same reason some people are coming into certain deities and spirits and whatnot, because they are supposed to. It is their time. They are supposed to learn it if they so choose it. And people like all these egocentric people that go through these traditional ass initiations. And that's another thing with these initiations. I believe Brother Panic had simply saying, if you hear the call, like if you can hear and receive the message, then you are being initiated, or you have been initiated. An initiation is simply just a rites of passage. But we got to understand, we used to walk this planet and this realm as gods. There were no forms of initiations when we were in our divine birthright and our divine power, because there was no need for it. Simply being initiated means you're coming back into your power, into your spiritual work. We didn't need initiations when we didn't need it, because we were the deities. We were the essence. We didn't have to create all these external spirits and whatnot, or these personifications of these energies, because we were the full embodiment of it. It wasn't until we lost connection with that shit and we went to sleep that we started to have to externalize it in order to explain it and to come back to it. And remember, it's all within. So I was going on a tangent. So, and we don't even, a lot of people gonna have to get this, and it could hurt a lot of feelings. I don't give a fuck who gets mad at it, but the reality is these traditional initiations where you all got to come together as a group and go through these certain processes and things like that, it's almost like pledging, because I pledged from where we once began. Because again, we didn't need to initiate into no shit, because we were the shit. And we fell off. Hence, now we got damn fucking initiations and shit. But even that still is not your highest divine right, because somebody still has to sit over you. Walking in, in your own authority. To be initiated, that means somebody has to still sit over you and initiate you into this shit. And that is still not that's not the furthest you can go. Every time you go through a challenge or a situation or a circumstance, or you have to learn a cosmic lesson, like a divine cosmic lesson, every time you heal a traumatic imprint, you reverse some ancestral trauma, every time you do something big that changes the course of your life, that is literally you being initiated into the next level and the next cycle of your growth and development. It's a returning back to godhood. Okay, you go through initiations naturally all through your life. Every time you level up in life, that is a fucking initiation, especially if you're on the spiritual path doing the work. Every level up you make in your spiritual work is an initiation. You don't have to pay no money and go nowhere to nobody and have somebody sit over you. And but don't get me wrong now, like it's great to have ancestors, like elders and mentors to guide you through the process. But the whole point of you coming back into this work is to come back home to self. You're supposed to come back home to self. We created these deities. So what the fuck it look like you sitting there talking, somebody telling you, and you listening to somebody tell you, well, they have to choose you. Like when your parents birthed you and they gave you a name, did they turn around and then start serving you? Like they birthed you into this world, gave you a name, did they turn around and start serving you? No. You came from them. They were your teachers. They taught you. They raised you up until the point where you could stand on your own 2 feet. And now you go on and do what you got to do. Ultimately, since you were their creation, you were their student in a sense. You're even in a servant in a sense, because then they gave you chores. They taught you what to do, how to survive in this realm. Those of you that had good parents, if not, somebody taught you some shit. It's the same thing with these deities and these spirits that we create. We create them and they were our servants. They are our servants. They're here to do work for us, not the other way around. Why are you getting on your knees, bowing to and serving your own creation? Now I get submitting to your creation and giving it unconditional love and reciprocity, doing for it so that it does even more for you. That's one thing, balance of give and take. But to be serving and then to walk around here feeling like you just the shit because you get to work with Oshun, you get to work with an energy. You want a pat on the back because you get to work with a specific energy? An energy, my nigga? An energy? And everything is energy. If I go outside right now, I got certain trees in my backyard. If I go outside and sit under them and they start giving me messages, I'm not finna sit up here and just put myself out there like, oh, I got my special trees and they chose me to work with me and give me messages, and you don't. If you don't sit with my trees and my trees don't talk to you the way they talk to me, then you don't need to be doing no spiritual. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, fuck out of here with that shit. Let people led to something, be it a tradition or a certain pantheon of knowledge or deities or certain truths. If you get led back to certain religious texts or religious practices, because I believe there's truth in everything, then do that. Don't let anybody stop you on this journey. Knowledge is infinite. It comes in many forms, and if for somebody to try to tell you you need somebody to bring you into something is a problem, because they are limited everywhere. In the human vessel, we are limited, and it is so hard for us to grasp the concept of infinite energy, infinite knowledge, because we are currently experiencing life in a finite state of being. It's hard, but some people that do psychedelics and shit like that, we experience the infinite even in that short period of time. All is connected. There are no motherfucking mistakes, and don't let nobody tell you it is a fucking mistake. Okay, you are coming back into knowledge and certain things for a reason, because it's you are being initiated. You're coming back home to self. That is the grandest initiation of all that we all can go to, is to simply remember who and what we truly are in our full essence, in our divine sovereignty. That is what we're coming back to. We're coming home to. And you ain't got to have nobody lead you back there. You came into this bitch alone. You gon' leave this bitch alone. At the end of the day, you'll never be alone, because all is connected. We are all one. You are just one piece, one facet of existence, of the divine experience itself in all shapes, size, forms, fashions, however you want to describe it. You are a piece of the infinite, and you are on your walk and your journey to come back home to source, and I can't even describe it, because source is infinite. It's all and nothing at the same time. It is the beginning and the end at the same time, and it's infinite. So technically there is no beginning and end. That's why it's the beginning and the end at the same time. There's no starting point. You are loud and soft at the same time. You are giant and small and insignificant at the same time. You are all. Everything is everything, and you need to walk your path in truth. Nobody is choosing you. There is no deity choosing you. That's like saying, oh, I'm a messenger of Christ because Jesus Christ chose me. Like, I good for that, you and that nigga. Like, you and Jesus gone over there and do your thing. But choose yourself. I chose myself. When I went through my depression and I hit my rock bottom and shit got bad, I chose to climb myself up out of that deep hole that I got myself in. And then I chose to realize and accept that I chose to go through that experience. I had to know what that felt like, because I now have a purpose to help guide people back home to themselves, to like be the light that sparks it in others. And what they do with it, it's on them. I can't stop anybody's path. I can't start anybody's path. All I can do is shine a little light on their path. Like, hey, what you doing right now, you say it's not working for you. Well, I tried this. This is what I do. I walked away from religion. I meditate a little bit. I try to find the beauty in everything. I try to find the light in all dark clouds. This was what I do. It works for me. It's not perfect because I'm still on my journey, but hey, you should give it a try if you see fit. If it works for you, do your thing. And I'm going to go on about my business. I'm going to keep on walking my path. And if it resonates for that person or that individual, then great. That means we matching frequencies. And it's all I can do when I walk this realm is to make sure that whenever I come into contact with anybody, I bring them some type of high vibrational experience. Period. I no longer want to be responsible for lowering anybody's frequency or bringing some toxic shit to people, because I experienced much toxicity and I understand the power in that. If every space I go to, if it's not being uplifted by me, then I need to stay my ass at home and do some more work on self, period. So the dark night of the soul. That's exactly what it is. So stop, like, all in all, I wasn't trying to be on here long. I had to rant, but it really made my ass itch, because there's too many people out here that's trying to tell people to not work with. You can't work with this deed. You can't work with this spirit, and if they didn't choose you, well, how the fuck do you know how spirits are supposed to choose people? Because like I said in the beginning of this video, all these people are basically saying is, you're not doing this shit the way I did it, so it's wrong. That sounds just like how white people went around the world and saw all these indigenous cultures and practices going on. Like, no, you're not living and existing the way we do it, so it's wrong. So we'll slaughter you and forcibly try to convert you. Like, fuck out of here. Like, no, walk your path the way you are supposed to walk it. There are no mistakes. Even your errors are perfect. Okay, your imperfections are perfect, because in your imperfections comes self-acceptance, self-love, and comes a lesson. Every time you fuck up, there's a lesson. That's what makes it fucking great. So, and a blessing in itself, because you have now learned something. And when you learn something, then another situation that is similar gets brought right back around to you for you to go through to see if you actually learned it. Now you get the chance to apply what you've learned, and when you apply it and apply it the right way, you'll know, because you'll conquer that situation and you'll move on to something better. That is literally an initiation. You leveled up. I went through some shit. I learned my lesson. I got brought right back around to some similar shit. I applied what I learned, and I no longer have to go through the consequences that I once experienced and suffered from, because I learned my lesson. I am now initiated into a new level of knowledge. I'm ready to learn more. I'm ready to go further. I'm ready to go on. Choose your damn self. Choose that for yourself. You don't have to be initiated up under no traditional system, because again, like I said, those traditional initiations are technically a lower form of vibration in comparison to our natural state of existence, which is pure divinity. You don't need to be initiated when you're purely divine, because the whole point of being initiated is to bring you back to the divine. So when you get back to your divinity, and nobody can bring you back to your divinity, you have to claim it for yourself. You are divine in yourself. All you are doing in this realm is shedding all this ego, this humanity, all that's been built up over lifetime after lifetime after lifetime that you have become attached to, that keeps bringing you back here. When you shed that shit, you realize, I am nothing and everything all at once. I am the I am. I am that I am. I am. Period. Nothing else has to follow, because in that simple saying, I am, you are saying I am everything and I am nothing. I am God. I am source. I am the divine. I am the most high. I am. I always have been. I always will be. The end. And there is no initiation needed for that. It's simply straight learning knowledge and self-acceptance and self-love to you and then to everything around you. Be that which you want to experience in this realm. Be pure, be love, be that innocent, that energy you feel when you see when you hear a child laugh, or you see them smile purely, or they get that creative spark and they want to do something, when they run and laugh with so much joy and just pleasure. Be that. Be God, okay? There's no initiation needed for that. It's just you to accept it and be that. The end. That's all I had to say. That was my rant. I hope this resonates with whoever needs to hear it. Thank you for watching and being in the comments. Drukba Kunli, I hope I said it right. Yeah, choose yourself. Ain't nobody out there choosing you. Ain't nobody choosing you. Period. Because all these people that's telling you, oh, they came to me and they chose me, all that is telling me that there's some external entity and spirit out there that's feeding off of them. They bragging about who chose them and not realizing you still fool. You still fool. You a god in this realm, and you have still not accepted your godhood or reclaimed it. So someone or something up there or in another dimension is feeding off your ass. Okay? Someone is feeding off of you because you had to be chosen by them. So now you are subordinate to them and they sit on top of you versus you being the God of this realm and your universe and you taking claim on your divine sovereignty and running shit for yourself. So initiate that. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.